as we walk into this first episode, of course, I want to address some things because, again, I don't want to have to do it again. And I just feel like I see so many examples of the fan bases that other podcasts have built, but I don't know. I just feel like they don't never set their boundaries with their listeners until something happens. And of course, I don't have no listeners yet, but y'all are gonna be listening. So I just want to lay out a few rules, okay? This is a safe space for all, specifically all women. That's who I'm targeting, but of course, for all. I just, again, it doesn't have to be fake love, but we are trying to evolve over here, so we're just it's a safe space for all, okay? Secondly, we do not talk about Blueface and Krishan. We do not. This is not, if you were looking for that, you were listening to the wrong thing. You need to go go and get, honestly, because nope, we're not gonna do that. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And 3, I am on this journey with my future listeners. So while certain areas I am very healed, but in other areas I'm still learning. So of course, back to rule number 1, this is a safe space. This isn't a safe space in the sense of come with your mind open and your ears open. You're not gonna get I'm into certain things and holistic living, but we're not gonna be whispering and da-da-da. We're homegirls, we're talking, we're chatting, we're chit-chatting, okay? So yeah, please, if you were looking for just, I guess, a softer approach, I have a soft approach, but this is not the let's hold hands and kumbaya at all. So yeah, and that works for some and it doesn't work for others. So yeah, I just kind of want to discuss that because, again, we are trying to get our minds, bodies, and souls aligned with things that matter. It's the only way you can literally go toe to toe with the shit we deal with every day. So yeah, those are the rules that I just want to lay down. So let's walk into the rest of the show. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the show. Now, for the first episode, I wanted to let this be a fresh episode just so I can kind of give a breakdown of how the show will actually be structured, and I will never do this again, but I did not want to put out the next couple of episodes over the weeks and then it's what? But it would never change, so it will be consistent. But we'll go ahead and jump into the show. Now, on my specific journey of living in this, walking on this path with purpose and learning to really give myself grace, right? I've questioned what is soulful living. Now, of course, you're probably wondering well, why do you have the essentials to a soulful life? Of course, these are things that I have already kind of been working on myself along on my journey, but you can still question that. So that's what Soul and Grace is all about. We're all going to figure out what soulful living is together. So I've questioned what that is, right? And it's well, how does one live soulfully? What feeds my soul? What the fuck is a soul? Seriously, because for me, I know I have I guess it's not really a definition. Honestly, I looked up the definition, so I'll give that to you guys in a little bit. But what is a soul? The name of my brand is Soul and Grace, but simply because I feel like these are two important things you need to live a fulfilling life, like a fulfilling, beautiful life that you are satisfied with, or you learn to grow satisfaction with, right? Like, your soul is, even though to me sometimes, like, I think of it like of a shiny little person inside of your core. You kind of are like feeding it all the time. I don't know, like, maybe that's, I'm not really elaborating on what I really just think that it's like. I think your soul is really just like the inner you, right? And your soul has the answers. That's what I think. But whether or not you decide to listen to that or follow those answers, I guess people see it as like following their heart. That's on you, you know? So some people might disagree with me when I say like, oh, I feel like it's a shining light that we all have. Somebody might feel like, oh, I don't have a light. And that's why I'm listening to the podcast to try to figure out how to get it. So we're going to try to help you find that. I'm going to try to help you find that. Or try to direct you to the right places and resources to find those things, right? I got you. Now, as we walk into the show, the first part of the show is the gotta have it part of the show. And the gotta have it is always going to be me sharing items that I love or really needed this week, and like I can't survive without them. Literally. So the first two items that I would like to share in this season of Soul and Grace on things that I absolutely cannot live without. The first one is going to be L-theanine, which is a supplement that is it is not necessarily something that I wouldn't say like, oh, it might work for everybody, because I don't know, maybe you are super stressed out and it doesn't work, but it is a supplement that helps to support alertness, relaxation, and sleep. The appeal of L-theanine comes from the ability to support the state of alert relaxation, so it can calm you down without causing drowsiness. Now, I've never experienced that or like a specific surge of energy from it, but I can say it does level you out. I take it daily. And the tablets that we get actually are really good. I think most people get them in gummies, but these tablets that we have are so good. I would highly recommend getting them whichever way you can get them, especially like if you are somebody that has or suffers from a lot of stress and or overthinking. I can't really say like, oh, it just changed my sleep, because more so I would just say like it really just relaxes your body to the point where you can probably just go to sleep a little bit easier, or you just sleep a little better. So L-theanine, check that out. The next one is Damiana, which Damiana is a herb. It's a flowering plant, and Damiana is so awesome. Most people, I think, are directed to Damiana when they have like issues with their hormones or whatnot. But I started taking Damiana like maybe like 2 months before I weaned my son from breastfeeding, and I took it because I had saw that, oh, it could help with like leveling out my hormones, which I can't necessarily say like I was going crazy, because I had already started taking the Damiana. So maybe it did work. I wouldn't say I really went crazy after I weaned him. Probably also because I was just so happy to not have to do that anymore, or my duties were coming to an end. Finally. It only took 2 years, but I was doing the Lord's work, you know, even though you feel like a milk machine, but you make it work. But yeah, so back to Damiana. It increases your energy. It has anti-anxiety and antidepressant properties. First of all, I do want to acknowledge that, first of all, I am very organized and I have notes. So yeah, it sounds like I'm reading off the website or something, but I'm just reading off my notes so I don't drift off and get lost and distracted talking about anything else. Um back down these fabulous notes. Of course, another thing that is known for is increasing your enhancing your sexual performance, but also, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess really it enhances for females, your hormonal, girl, it makes you you're like a waterfall if you take it. That's all I can say. I also found out that it protects the gut, has antimicrobial properties. It can also act as an antibiotic, protects against diabetes, protects the kidneys and the liver. If you are a smoker, not a cigarette smoker, not y'all, but if you participate in other flowers, it is not too far related from the lovely Mary Jane. And you also can inhale the Damiana plant, or you can make some really nice teas, all of these things, and experience some beautiful euphoria from its beautiful molecular structure. It's awesome though. I would highly recommend it. I take it every day. I just think it makes me feel nice on top of like a couple of other herbs that I take, but Damiana is definitely top 5 for me, especially in my herb cabinet. I would say Damiana and burdock, probably like my number 2s. Oh, my other one is maca too. Maca in a tincture form, not the powder. That's what I prefer though. I know everybody has different experiences. But yeah, these are my gotta have it's, and sometimes it'll be things like this. It might be food, it might be a service, it might be a whatever that was really necessary to my life this past week. But yeah, so let's move on to the rest of the show. As I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, I have been working on creating this brand, or really just trying to figure out how to put all of my blessings into one basket, because they were, or are, because they still are, this is still like the beginning of this journey, but they are pulling me in so many different directions, but I need them all to just to come together, because that's the only way I can really focus on them in a whole. This is something that I am passionate about, and really look forward to healing with in others, or healing myself even more in others, or helping them along their journey, because it's not just a healing journey, because in this thing, like, you're really working towards longevity. You're going to face shit every day. Doesn't matter whether it's good shit or it's bad shit, it's gonna happen. So that's gonna happen. The only thing other than that's constant in life is change. So, we are working towards how to be able to mastering, walking through all of this shit, no matter the good or the bad. So this first episode is going to be like a little short compared to the others, but it's giving you an idea of the structure of how things will go moving forward. So the main topic of the show will always be centered around checking in with self. This part of the show is called Search for Soul. I think I'm gonna leave it as that. But yeah, it's dedicated to checking in with the soul and self and you and I. But I isn't you. I don't know how. I'm gonna try not to stress this in every episode, but yeah, we are working on ourselves. Okay, this is not a brand or podcast dedicated to helping you get better so that you can do shit for others, or so you can find the perfect blah, 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 whatever. Oh, I forgot to put that on my rule list. We do not discuss other people outside of ourselves really here, because that's a lot of times, most of the time, where your trauma and everything else stems from. So again, like I was saying, like, we are all about self, positivity and self. Okay, so let's jump into the search for soul part of the show. Literally, what makes my brand a little different is I'm pushing self-love to another level, I feel. During my journey the last few years, I've realized your universe is a reflection of you and your thoughts. How we handle certain challenges is a reflection of self. How you move through life is a reflection of self. So if we're working towards, longevity in life, the goal is to never stop working and loving on self. These are my downloads on this that I've had over this time, honestly. Like, I honestly, that's the biggest lesson in all of it. Especially, is like, you can read all these books, you can go to all of the retreats and all of those things, but if you really don't love yourself, none of that is going to help it. Or if you're really doing it for other people, none of that stuff is going to help it, and you just spend a lot of money for no reason. So back to the title of this part of the show, Search for Soul. I think the only times we hear the word soul is when it is commonly used in the favorite, your favorite granny and papa comment. Oh, that baby got a old soul. He been here before. Or, ooh, that baby so evil. I am from the South, so I've heard people, grandparents and shit, say these things. So if you are from the South, you heard this. Honestly, if you got some American Black family members, elders, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, like, they say that about babies and like kids or whatever. But it's never in a lively way. It's always like in this past tense way. Now, when I hear like soul and soulful, a lot of times my mind is gonna immediately go to food, or really like something, like something got soul, like it kissed or it touched something inside of you, your soul, but it touched that little person. I'm gonna keep referring to it as a person, but it touches that inside of you, and it makes you feel vibrant, alive, and like, again, it just makes you feel good. But how do you get to that point of like being able to receive that, if you don't already? Like, clearly when you hear soulful, like, maybe I've just been reading too many books and listening to too much Queen Afua or whatever, but I hear so full, like, I'm so full, like, so I'm just imagining feeling so full. And I've had moments in my time, or moments in my life, where I do shit and I feel so full. Like, oh, my heart is so full. Like, this makes me feel so good. When I'm at Vibes in a park and I'm seeing everybody doing the electric slide and the little Tamia step, and it's raining or whatever, like, it makes you feel so full. So, again, how does one, like, feel that on a regular? I don't know. That's what this podcast is about. That is what this part of the show is going to be about, because I would like to figure that out with my future listeners as well. Literally everything that helped me get to where I am today, even just like the peace that I have now, is like, I don't know if I can say that that's from being or feeling a lot of, or better yet, acting on a lot of things that make me feel so full. You know what I mean? But again, that's what we all gonna figure out. Literally every week, the soul sector will be about breaking down the word soul. To keep things super fresh, I would love for my future listeners to tell me, what does the word soul or soulful mean to you? What is one thing you do to keep yourself soulful and happy, or just feeling good? What is something that you do to keep yourself feeling good? You can send me a response. Actually, I did see that there is a feature on the Spotify podcasting site to add a area for responses, so maybe I should do that. But otherwise, future listeners, you can send your response to that to soulplusgrace@gmail.com. And again, soulplusgrace@gmail.com. I really would love to hear, like, what do you do, or what are some things you are trying to practice or, make a part. Excuse me. Why is it when every time, I'm telling y'all, it's more than just like thinking you are about to sit down and record a damn podcast. The mics might not work. You're recording on one device, but you're not recording on the other one. You get the coughs out of nowhere. You're reading too fast. If you're a good podcaster and you put your notes down. But yeah, like, you're rushing through it. You just gotta breathe. You just gotta breathe. And I need my listeners, or my future listeners, to bear with me. But yeah, send those responses there. I really am gonna try, because if I can it can easily be done where I can just set it up on here. Honestly, this is like a free plug. Hopefully one day I can get them to sponsor Soul and Grace. But Spotify podcasting makes it so easy for people that have never done it before. So I would highly recommend. I would highly recommend. Honestly, I can't say I've tried any of the other sites or anything, but I'm just gonna stick with this one. It got music, it got a good recording thing, it got editing, it got everything. It got everything. So I would highly check that out. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the rest of the show. Like I said, it's not gonna be a long episode, because this is the first. But one of the things I wanted to share with you guys in the soul searching part of the show are some of the ways that I believe that you can practice soulful living, or like some of the steps you can start taking after listening to this, if you weren't aware of this. But some people know these things, and it's so easy to just not follow through. It's so easy. I'm saying that for myself too. So the first thing that I put on my list is having self-awareness. I want to say this one more time, because if anything, these other things I listed out are important as well, but this is like the main thing. Because god damn it, if you don't have no, I don't mean to curse like I'm your mama or something, but if you do not have the self-awareness to check yourself, or not even really to check yourself, just so you know how to listen to you. So many times like, of course, I'm no therapist or anything, but when you are, even if you, once you master some type of, just like 30% of self-awareness, you will start to see the bullshit. You will see the bullshit every time you will see it right there. You are going, it's just gonna be like, you're just gonna be able to pick it, like somebody took a blindfold off of you that was on you for the last 20 some years. When you learn to have self-awareness, being happy is gonna start with that too, because again, if you have the self-awareness of what makes you happy, that is one of the best feelings in the world. When you can voice those things, that's a whole nother level of happiness. But soulful living begins with self-awareness. Self-awareness literally involves like this different introspective type of just like deeper connection and understanding with yourself, of your feelings and like your values and your wants and needs. You literally learn who you are, or maybe you're not even learning, but like it's you're learning to accept it as you are paying more attention to yourself. Do you know how many people do not know themselves? They think they do, but they don't. Honestly, and I'm not even saying this because my life has been perfect. I'm perfect, none of that shit, but I honestly always chalk it up to having like a strong female example. My mom, like, so yeah, like when you have that, I think that plays a big part, especially with women. If you've had a woman in your life that played, like, I don't want to say like my mom plays a big part in the woman that I am, but because my mom is not like now she's a tell you everything type of person, but growing up, it was never, she shared her experiences, but it was never like beaten into us. It was more of like well, just think about this type of thing. Now it's a completely different type of delivery and we are all grown, but if I would have seen her like doing reckless shit, maybe it would be a little different, but that is like my role model of self-awareness. It really is. And without that, I don't know what would have happened, but honestly, thank God it happened the way it did, because she did her big one with me in that area, having the self-awareness. But a lot of people do not have it. They don't have it. Don't realize they don't have it either. And yeah, because a lot of people, they can't even be alone with self to realize these things, or really listen and learn to communicate with their body to figure out what they want. So that is one of the things, and over the next few weeks we'll deep dive into those things, but that's number 1 on the list. Number 2 is learning to move with purpose and meaning. This is a lot easier said than done, of course, because just like a lot of us don't have the awareness, we have no idea what we really want. We know what looks good. We know what we need to have, quote unquote, know what we need to have, because we really don't be needing that stuff, but we get it. It looks good. But literally just, we don't know what our purpose is, and that's another part of living soulfully. You have gifts. Sometimes we don't know what those gifts are because we don't get the time to really focus on those gifts or whatever, especially when you're just trying to survive. Like, I feel like that's everyone, especially just right now, and it doesn't really matter if you have a lot of money or you don't. Everybody's kind of just experiencing like this domino effect of inflation in life. But it's so hard to think about those things when you're just trying to survive every day. But ideally, you would be seeking, this understanding of what you were blessed with. And then once you figure that out, then you move, and everything that you do in life is to get you towards whatever your purpose is. I really hope that makes sense. And again, all of these things are tied into soulful living. If you've gotten lost with my running off or whatever, number 3 on that list, being authentic. I think that's also, like, honestly, that kind of goes into the self-awareness, because you gotta be you. Literally, every time you ignore your true self and what your damn self is telling you, this shit, you just get stuck on this terrible loop with different people, different settings, all of these different things. You can try to move somewhere if you want to. You can you can just try whatever newness you think will work, but it's not going to work, okay? And the same problem will keep coming back to you, back and back and back. But yeah, be authentic, understand who you really are, be true to yourself, embrace your uniqueness, because you being unique and different from everybody else on this damn planet is okay. It is completely okay. That is why you were put on this earth, because you are different than the next person to you. You are also beneficial to this world, this universe. Your entire existence is beneficial to you because of who you are. Number 4. Honestly, I put mindfulness. And again, baby, but see, so much of it don't have to be said, because it gets repetitive, and it always goes back to self. Goddamn self. Know your damn self. I can't say that enough. Know yourself. If you're a Drake fan, he been told y'all that years ago. Know yourself. Mindfulness, in case you don't know what that is, mindfulness is, you can meditate, you can go for a walk, something big, like, I feel like taking a moment of mindfulness is kind of just like if you have an Apple Watch, you have that little feature on your watch, and you sit there and it tells you to inhale, exhale, and you just kind of vibing off the breath, vibing in with the breath, flowing, going with the flow, and just focusing on yourself. Deep breathing, you can do those type of things. I'm still kind of new to that. I'm like reading a book right now on deep breathing, but that is still something that is new to me. I know that it works. I've kind of do like this pattern when I meditate myself, but that's still pretty new to me. But you can do that too if you are into that or learning to. Growing up, I never really saw anyone meditating. My mom used to be doing like Taibo, yoga. She had all the little DVDs and VCR tapes. Still got them actually. My grandma did the little Taibo. Everybody did walks or whatever. But so I can't really say I had the example of someone practicing mindfulness in those ways, but in other ways they would, they had other ways they would do it. Now that I'm looking back on it and can like really analyze that, they did. They were doing that stuff, so let me not give them credit on that. But not meditating and like these newer, I guess they aren't newer practices because they've been around for so long, but just these other practices that we are being introduced to in America. Let's see, where am I at my notes? See, this is why the notes work, because you get to talking and thinking, and I've had some other thoughts come to mind, And one more thing I want to say about mindfulness is like, you need time to think about you, even if that's not as much time as you really would like. Because we all would love to just be somewhere beautiful with ourselves, right? But you need it because that's how you like reset and refocus. So part of resetting and refocusing. Next on the list I put making connections and building relationships. Now, as someone who is like a transplant, I think that's what you say, like when you are newer to cities. I've been in Denver for 5 years as of this year, but I can honestly say, like, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I probably would still be trying to like fly out to go be a part of other things and communities and stuff. This is my first year actually doing it. I've come across some beautiful souls, right? But regardless of that, I've always had some type of connections and relationships with people that I love and I can trust, and they don't stress me out or anything. When you hear make connections and build relationships, please understand that I am not saying try to hold on to bad ones, okay? Let them go. Let those connections and relationships go. If they stress you the fuck out, let them go. Point blank, period. What I mean by making connections and building relationships, focus on nurturing meaningful, loving, kind in the sense of they are kind to you relationships. Not the ones that make you feel a ways and use and abuse you. When we are practicing making connections and building relationships, it involves like these different things that you would never think that you need to exercise in life, but you can't be a Grinch all the time. It involves empathy, compassion, and learning to build and maintain these deep and like close connections to people, whether friends, family, or co-workers, whoever. Like literally it teaches you how to be a good person, in my opinion, to people, how to have good relationships and therefore keep the fucking connections, because some people right now are so lonely because they are just not good people. They're not good connections and they are terrible with relationships, okay? You know who I'm talking about. So literally, something else that could help you as far as this goes, like maybe you just need to map it out and do a little hangman of your circle, because I would say like write out a list or in your journal, like write out the people that are close to you, why they're close to you, people you would like to remove from your life, and why their connections do not work. Now, for my people that are lonely in a sense, instead of focusing on like all the connections that you don't have, focus on the connections that you would like to attract. This shit actually works. I can say that because first of all, on another episode I kind of talk about that, but I highly believe in scripting your life out. Write that shit down. I have so many notebooks from years ago. I really want to do a Patreon episode on that, as far as like sharing, reading out my journal, like what I wanted, or not what I wanted, but what I imagined, right? What I can see for myself, what I envisioned. But really just like scripting out my life of what I wanted, and I can also tell and show what I have. This shit works. And even for people and connections, because for me that has been happening as of this year, and I've only been journaling about that for a year and then some, because during the pandemic it was like, okay, cool, working, you worked from home. I had my store, like all of those things. I wasn't really worried about anything. Then I had my son, and it was all about him. So at some point, I would say maybe a year, I kind of just started scripting that out while working on myself. Don't be trying to script in some friends into your life and you are a sour apple, because it ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work. But yeah, so either way, script out the friends you want or whatever you're trying to attract, connection, relationship wise. This is not mean a man, okay, ladies, please. And men, if you are listening, please. This is a podcast dedicated to self. The brand is dedicated to self. Y'all, we have to start loving ourselves, because then once you do that, everything else will just come to you. Literally, I promise you, it will just come to you. I don't want to say love will find you, because some of y'all believe that. Just believe that, and it might not happen for you, and that's okay. That's just a part of life. There's a billion people on the planet. I hope you do find your one, but a billion of them is crazy, and a couple of million of them is struggling. So we're gonna focus on self right now. Now, the last two things that are on my list, as far as things I think one should practice to achieve soulful living or work towards soulful living, learning to show gratitude and appreciation. This is something that I struggle with currently, or not even that. I'm learning to work towards appreciating the things that I did get done for the day, or what I have accomplished, right? So many things play a part in that, but I do want to, let me just read out what I listed for this part of what I think that is. Like I said, practicing gratitude and appreciation sounds cliche as hell, but it works. It works, and it has literally helped me shift my mindset in the moment. Not like on things I can't get over or anything, but in the moment when I start complaining about, oh, I wish I would have had time for this, oh, I wish I would have did it's like, well, what did you get done today? And then every time when I list out those things, I've literally done so many things, minus the one thing that I figured is so big that I'm so hung up on. It's wild. It really is wild. But think about the things that you have done or what you can work towards, because we are always able, where there's a will, there's a goddamn way. It's gonna happen, and some shit just takes time. Now, I can't say that about laundry and stuff. I might start it and I might finish it on Thursday. Got done, point blank, period. But those other things that, we get hung up on, or I know social media plays a big part in that, and the only thing I can really advise for that is like, touch grass. It sounds mean, it sounds offensive, all of those things, but really put the fucking phone down and go be outside, go find something else to do other than look at what other people have, because a lot of these people don't really have it. Okay, a lot of them, and I don't want to offend anybody, but as a business owner and I don't want to say retired, but I modeled and all of those things. And when you get around these celebs and people and influencers especially, you realize the life is scripted, but in the Hollywood way. The finances are scripted in a Hollywood way. All of those things. So yeah, just disconnect from that. Before like 10 years ago, before we had the social media and all of this stuff, like people had other things to do. I think right now we always are so hooked on like, oh, what is this person doing? What is this doing? We got too much damn access to each other, and there's so much other shit to be doing. So yeah, learn to show gratitude for what you have, and show gratitude for the fact like you're able-bodied, you got 2 legs, you got 2 feet, 10 toes, they fucking work. Oh my God, they work. Your arms work, your hands, your feet, your eyes, your mouth. Find other ways to use them than being ungrateful for things. Point blank, period. Lastly, creativity and self-expression. Find you a way to be creative. Or find a different way to express yourself. I don't know, maybe that's music. Whatever your skill is. You know what your skill is. I'm imagining that my future listeners are, some of you may be young, but you're not too young to where I have to give you the pep talk of like what creativity is. Oh, how to discover what you like. There's something that you happen to be fascinated with, obsessed with. It fucking gets you excited. You love to do it. You wouldn't mind spending hours doing it. Find that thing. Stick with it. Pour into it. And embrace it. Because that is a part of soulful living. It makes you fucking feel good. It makes you feel so good. It makes you feel good. I cannot say that. I can't say that, like, again, as an artist, as an abstract artist, I paint. Honestly, I got a couple of different art talents. It's annoying, but do those things instead of being obsessed with things you don't have, things you want, because that's, hey, we all struggle with that. We think we need it, but we just want it. That is the end of my list. And honestly, I think something that really doesn't, like, it could go unsaid, but I'll just say it. This is a marathon. This is not a race. This is not bingo. This is not fucking anything. Like, life is not a game. It's not a game. Honestly, I'm realizing that myself. Like, it's not a game, but you should be in it for the long run. Understand that. I mean, Nipsey Hussle. I mean, everybody love a little Nipsey Hussle, but I mean, he said it's not a, what did he say? It's not a race. It's a marathon or whatever. Seriously, it's really not. If you live to see 50. Maybe you on a good track. You live to see 30, you on a good track. You live to see 20, 18, 15. You see, just to see another day. You are on a path that is meant to be paced. I've honestly never even said that, so I'm just thinking about that as that just came out my mouth. Like, yeah, you are on this path to be paced, to be happy, fulfilled, and to be understanding of those things. Like, really, yeah, to be understanding, to constantly understand that shit is gonna happen. Baby, I've been reading too many of these books. Understand? Come on now. Come on now. Oh, I need a kufi. I need a kufi. But no, seriously, it is like, once you really understand that shit, it becomes a breeze. It becomes a breeze because things are gonna happen, but good things, those things are always gonna happen too. And that's what I'm chasing. I'm chasing the glow so my little inner midget can thrive and shine outside of me, you know, outside of this physical body that it resides in for now, you know. But yeah, let's child, if it wasn't for these notes, like I said, this first episode is probably going to be the shortest of all the others, but you're in for a good show. I can promise that. A good show, good guests, and all those things. So we've come to the end of the show. I know. Oh my god. And first of all, I'm not even gonna lie, I've been looking out my window this whole time while I'm recording, and besides the fact of wanting to record outside, I know I'm gonna have to find like a really cool area to like, because all the other episodes are going to have videos attached. This one will not. Sorry, you don't get to see my beautiful face, but you get to hear my beautiful voice on this wonderful little mic that I hope is doing its job. But first of all, September, baby, what's going on? September came in and it was like, let me snatch up a little green over here, a little green over here. First of all, there are actually leaves falling outside. They keep saying it's going to be a very cold winter, and I'm just debating, does that mean I can't go to Texas because Texas got the terrible power grids? God bless everybody there. I mean, I have family there, so God bless them too. I don't know. Not looking forward to it, but I am looking forward to fall. And right now is very promising. October is going to be amazing. Podcast is coming out weekly. More content on the Soul and Grace Instagram. Oh, I never even shouted out the Instagram. Honestly, because it's probably fading. Y'all follow me on TikTok. That's where I shamelessly be at now. I used to just think that was the baby. If the Chinese is over the app, I'm on it. They got me. They got me. I love a little TikTok. I'm not gonna lie to you. The conversation is better. Too many damn know-it-alls, but the conversation is better than Instagram, baby. I can't see all the shade room, Hollywood Unlocked, all of that, all of them shits. I can't see that every day. I just can't. But literally, as we come to the last part of the show, this is probably, I mean, the whole show is structured like, and I just think like it's structured amazingly. I love it, but this last part of the show is always going to be very positive and heartwarming, because it is my section of the show called Queen Things, and Queen Things is all about operating as the queen. A queen to me is someone that is rich in the mind, body, and spirit. A leader. Okay? A leader. Don't be calling yourself a queen just because Nicki Minaj, who keeps embarrassing us. I'm about to drop my, like, I don't even know much of her drama, but the fact that she went from never being in the headlines to being in it is just like, I'm gonna have to hang the Barbie chain up, dog. This is yeah. Anyways, because that's somebody I don't ever want to talk about either, because good God, no ma'am. Bless it. Anyways, so how do we make sure a woman is feeling like a queen at all times? That is, to me, in my opinion, by making sure she's pouring into herself at all times, making her feel heard, making sure she has time to reset and refresh her mind. You're probably thinking, I don't have any of that shit. We're gonna learn how to do that through this last part of the show, okay? Literally, you need to be able to do all these things. You need time to be able to reset and refresh, because otherwise you cannot pour into anything else or everything else around you. That's from family and friends, that's to projects, that's to even if you just work, you know, someone else's, like you're part of someone else's company. You just can't. It leads to being overstimulated, overworked, over everything. You just over it. Shit. You just over it. So Queen Things is all about operating as a queen, right? And how we do that. Different ways to enrich our spirits, our minds, our souls, and keeping us in that good space. Every time we step into this part of the show, really as we close out the show, we are going to be putting our crowns on, because every episode I want you to walk out feeling a little bit more confident, and at least like a little bit more aware of what you as a queen need going into the next week. So this week I have a mantra, and the mantra is I trust my feelings. I trust my feelings. I trust my feelings. If you are feeling a certain way, stop looking for others to justify how you feel. Stop looking to see if it's okay. So really stop Google searching, is it okay if you feel like this? Is it okay if I da? First of all, why the fuck are you acting? Wait a minute, because I was... I'm glad I put explicit up, because baby, this is just raw and unfiltered. I'm never going to yell or anything like that, but you got your glass and we're having a conversation, honey. Listen to yourself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. If you are feeling burnt out or tired, accept that and start working on resting in whatever area of your life that is. Think of your feelings as a river. Sometimes you just have to flow with the fucking river. It doesn't matter if it's going down, if you about to flow into the dam, the beaver dam, or you about to just flow peacefully, like flow with the river. I am a firm believer in working through your emotions. It probably is the cancer in me, but work through your emotions, because if you do not, they just kind of build up even when you get over it, or you're like you're drinking days after because you still feel that same way. Work through those feelings. If that means you got to be sad for a week, do that. But also make sure, like, after 3 days, you're starting to focus on the end of being sad, or you have an idea of what you want to do to move forward in the future, which the future is after especially 3 days. I know you got a job, you got something else. You can't be sad all the time, even though we usually operate that way and we mask the pain through other vices, right? But ride the feelings out, listen to them, address them, share them, which is something else that is easier said than done. But sometimes sharing, to me, maybe it's not to that person, but maybe it's you writing out what you want to say to that person. You burn it, whatever. Maybe you do have the balls to say what you want to say to the person. That's the route I like to take, but I know that's not, especially in some of the worst case scenarios, but address it somehow, work through it, move forward, see the light. Even if you don't see the light, it's there. Work towards it. Trust your feelings. I trust my feelings. I trust my feelings. I trust my feelings. That is the mantra I really want you guys to, my future listeners, to practice moving forward this next week and so on, because honestly, it's okay. Whatever you feel, good or positive, whatever, it's okay. Now, if that is something very crazy, as a doula, I have to advise you to seek help, okay? Seek help, and that's okay. Seek help that understands you, relates to you, and sometimes that's harder to find than others, but more so often, especially like this past year, I would say I've just been lucky to come across a lot of, the last 2 years really, I've been lucky enough to come across a lot of people tied and just connected with a lot of different resources. So I really would say, like, as a doula, for sure, seek the resources. Ask me, I might have some resources for you. Check them and see if you need help. If the thoughts and things are overwhelming and they're too bad, definitely seek medical attention and get what you need. Don't stop till you do. Find someone that can help you advocate for yourself and your needs. And good luck with that, But trust your feelings. Trust those damn feelings. Well, it has finally come to the end of the show. If you're listening, thank you. If you are listening or watching it, I just wanted to turn that into one whole word so bad. But if you're listening or watching, because the next few episodes will be recorded in visual, thank you. Seriously, thank you. You are watching something come to life that has, I've put a lot of thought into it, a lot of planning, and I cannot wait to really just complete the season so I can look back and say, damn, I did it. But yeah, this wraps up our first episode, and we'll see you next Sunday. Thanks for listening to the Soul and Grace podcast.